this tells us a lot about what's coming in San Antonio, as there are 3 players who have the most to prove, highlighted in a recent article, and we are going to discuss that. And David Jones-Garcia throwing hands. We're going to discuss all of it here on Spurs Digest with your host, Keenan Warner. And guys, we are on the road to 10K. If you guys haven't yet, hit that free subscribe button down there so you don't miss all the great content we have coming for you every single day as we get one day closer to the NBA season. But right here, let's just get into it without even... I don't know what's going on. I don't know what was said. No one really knows what was said, but that guy you see throwing hands there is our own David Jones-Garcia in the latest game for the Dominican Republic. And let's get underway with it. David Jones-Garcia suspended after brawl with Argentina, apologizes to the Spurs. I mean, again, just one more time, I'm going to quickly show this here. Man, just throwing hands. What happened? I don't understand what happened. The reports show that they don't really understand what happened, what was going on there, but apparently things were said after the game was finalized and hands started going. There's even more video after this with throwing hands. If this was the NBA, that would have been way more than a 2-game suspension. This is a 15-game suspension in the NBA today. But goodness gracious. David Jones-Garcia did apologize. He'll have to sit out the next 2 games being suspended participation in the brawl. Juan Cerro and Juan Guerrero received 1-game suspensions, as Angel Delgado was suspended for the game and will be on a 3-year probation. Argentina side, we have a few people who are suspended as well. Both federations, 27 Swiss francs. So there's money given out, there's fines given out, and there's some people getting suspended even after the punishments. It's clear what happened. What we know is that the Dominican Republic came back to beat Argentina in overtime once the game ended. The official broadcast shows teams exchanging shoves. Tensions rose initially. Who it was instigator Garcia, player who seemed the angriest and could seem throwing punches once it started to quiet down. Goodness gracious. Kind of crazy to see all of this. Obviously, we understand that basketball and anything can happen in the heat of the moment, and it's clear from the gravity of the situation there would be suspenders. And likely not surprised Jones would learn to miss a couple games, of course. He apologized for this version. This is what he had posted. I am not Josh, unfortunately, because Josh would do his thing and read this in French and then, or I'm thinking French, whatever language that would be. Josh would be able to read it and then come back. But we have the translated version, and I'll read the translated version here. Violence is never the answer. At the end of the game, things got out of control after an Argentinian player struck me, and one of my teammates received a racist insult. Adrenaline took over, but I take responsibility for my actions. I want to apologize to everyone, to my country, to FIBA, which organized a great tournament, the San Antonio Spurs, which expect more from me as a professional, and to the Argentinian people. As Latinos, we should support each other, grow together, and keep promoting the game we love. I let my emotions get the best of me, but experience like this one helped me grow and strengthen my emotional intelligence. I will always support the Dominican Republic with pride and give my best. Very well said. And you do feel for him. Hopefully this doesn't haunt him for a long period of time. Hopefully this just comes and goes with that suspension, as I think it should. I don't think it's going to hinder anything for him moving forward. Let's hope it doesn't, because he is a valuable asset to the team, and he's a valuable asset to basketball itself, but hopefully he can learn from this. He'll miss the game against Nicaragua on Monday, with the Dominican Republic should easily win in the first game of the knockout stage. Hopefully they can get to that, because if they lose in the knockout stage, you then get mentally okay, I might be part of the reason why we lost. And that's something to learn from too, that your actions in that moment don't just sit there, but they'll last forever. But let me know in the comments what you feel about this. Did you see it? Did you watch it? What do you think about David Jones-Garcia in this moment? But let's get underway to something a little bit more on the a little bit more on the upside of happiness. Obviously, we don't love people just throwing hands, but we're ranking 3 people with the most to prove in 2025-2026 for the San Antonio Spurs. And this article came out as the Spurs prepare for the 25-26 season. Fans have some expectations this season will finally be the time that the franchise puts the foot on the gas, wins games, gets Wemby to the playoffs. Obviously, the West is as loaded as ever. We have Vassell, Fox, Harper, Castle, Carter, Bryant, all under contract to start fresh enough. Growing pains, but there's 3 people most to prove. And it's interesting. I don't fully agree with this list, actually, but I like the list. Harrison Barnes, this is the one that I don't agree with fully. I don't think Harrison Barnes really has anything to prove because he's already a 33-year-old vet. He is a champion. He is a 41% shooter from the outside. 43, from the outside, 47.7% from the corners this season. He had himself a great year. He shot well, played well, good defense, and good leader on the floor. And I don't really think he has too much to prove because I don't think he's really playing for a contract. I mean, obviously he's in a contract, but he's not playing for a contract in the sense of Sochan is playing for millions of dollars. If he has a bad year, his contract could be substantially less than if he doesn't. Harrison Barnes is such a consistent player, and veteran teams are going to look to pay him a certain amount of money because they believe he can really benefit to their winnings, and I don't see that anything really changing in that. So, of course, as you could start to fade off with being 33 years old, I don't think he really has that. I would actually put Devin Vassell in that position or Julian Champagnie. Vassell because he's got to prove himself to the roster or he's got to prove himself to other teams if he does get let go. And Champagnie to prove himself to actually be a piece that we should probably move forward with instead of being a piece that we can really let go. Showcase that he is really one of the elite shooters or can be one of the elite shooters in the league and not just a above average shooter, because above average is not going to get it done when you're not bringing everything else to the table. He can play defense. He's an underrated defender, but he's not giving you much off the bounce. He is a little undersized. So that would be my thoughts there. I'd probably put Champagnie or Vassell instead of Barnes there, but I do love Sochan here at 2. Start of his final season on his rookie deal. The big question, he's a key part of the Spurs' young core. I believe yes. Josh believes yes. We think that Jeremy Sochan can be part of the future of this team because every team needs that glue. Every team needs that guy who can come in and really start to regulate and change the tempo and the dynamics of games just with their energy and hustle. Last year, we saw 11.4, 6.5 from him, 53.5% shooting, 30.8 from 3, and that's something that hopefully can be risen. Obviously, we saw him working in the offseason. He got removed a little bit of the hitch in that jump shot so far. It looks like we'll see what it looks like in Eurobasket consistency. We'll see what it looks like in San Antonio consistently for the year, but you have to like what you have seen from Jeremy Sochan. Some fans are quick to say yes, others say absolutely not. He is one of the most polarizing players on this roster right now, and it's interesting to see. And a guy who now at the number 1 spot, who was the most polarizing guy last year, but I don't think he has been this year. I think a lot of fans, at least from the Spurs Digest media YouTube page and from what I've seen on different platforms, X, Reddit, whatnot, they've actually come around on Keldon Johnson a little bit. Last year was really we need to push Keldon Johnson out the door. This year seems like we're more embracing who he is as a basketball player, and I kind of like to see that. This year, really the guy who has been the most polarizing, other than Jeremy Sochan, has been De'Aaron Fox due to the fact of the massive contract, but we get Dylan Harper, but feeling there. Guys, actually interesting. Who do you think the most polarizing San Antonio Spur is when it comes to view case of him? Let me know in the comments there. But 4 years ago, Johnson averaged 17.2, shooting near 40% from 3. Last year was not so much of that production. That was 13 and 5, shooting 32% from 3 and 48 from the floor. 48 from the floor is going to get it done. That 32% from 3 is not going to get it done at that high clip. But he looked like a part of the franchise, but reliable bench scorer, energy guy, obviously big body Maserati, Keldon Johnson. What is his role on this team? Can he find an actual true niche on this team? Can he contribute in a certain aspect? He can do a little bit of everything, but is that Swiss Army knife how he is going to contribute, or is he just going to be the fourth best out of everything and not be able to contribute the way that we are going to need the eighth player, the seventh player off the bench, or the seventh player in the whole entire lineup, but the second player off the bench, third player off the bench to be? So I do like the list. I think that it's very interesting to have Keldon at 1, Jeremy Sochan 2. I would agree with that. You could flip those depending on what you feel about their long-term future with San Antonio. 3rd, I would not put Barnes. I would personally put Vassell. But who would you put at that 3 spot? Who do you feel are the 3 most important pieces for the San Antonio Spurs this year? But let me know in the comments. That will do it for this episode of Spurs Digest. Again, here with your host, Keenan Warner. Appreciate everybody who is here, who's been growing with us for the last year plus now. It's been great to be here for the year plus since the beginning, and we're going to see this through for a long time. Spurs Nation, we'll see you guys very soon.